the line.
Oh my God.
Oh shit.
OMG.
Holy cow.
Wow. Internet.
What?
Oh, are we online?
Probably.
Tweet.
Oh, you had it prepped.
I did. I wrote a
You're
tweet.
just ready for that.
I typed it out and then I hit send.
Crazy.
Yep.
Is that how Twitter works?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh.
Like.
It should be a slightly more difficult than that.
No.
Just like-
Retweet.
Where's that live stream? Where's the live stream? Why is it not showing up?
Where is it?
Why is there no live
I
stream?
don't know. Chuck posted the link to it.
I did.
It should be live.
It's live.
Why are you whispering?
It's
Oh,
all
there
the
it
way
Oh, right.
live.
I shouldn't be doing that. Sorry.
There it is.
Did you get it?
It's there now.
Okay.
It's there.
Good.
It's
I'm,
there.
I'm happy for you.
What you say?
Shut your place.
Stream is healthy.
Yeah, it is.
Eat your vegetables and stream.
Eat your vegetables, Billy.
So healthy.
Have a healthy stream, Billy. Oh, fuck off. Just everywhere. Everywhere you buy things online, it's like, write a review. Right? Did you think you like the thing? Write a review. Even fucking eBay. It's like, the fuck you need a review for? It's fucking eBay.
Fucking eat
It's old shit.
This 1973 TV guide was just the best. I needed to know what was on August 16th, 1973, and it told me.
Yeah. Meow. Meow.
Gunsmoke.
Meow.
Why are you meowing at your computer?
I'm not meowing. I'm going meow.
Oh.
Thanks for the distinction.
Completely different.
Yeah, totally different.
Learn your onomatopoeia, Chuck.
It's not dun 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 dun. Dun. It goes up at the end.
Dun, 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 dun.
Man, 470 episodes. What the hell are we doing?
Mm.
I don't know, man.
We
What
haven't
are we
figured it
doing?
out by now. We should probably just stop.
I don't want to stop.
All right, well, we'll just keep figuring it
Can't
out.
stop, won't stop.
We just discovered the world
mean-
of Don Swayze.
Could stop, might stop.
That's true. Donathus Suizicus.
Biggeth, rocketh.
Every time we get in the mail, we get coupons for Tommy Bahama. And I'll always tell Jen, I'm like, oh, it's the new Thomas Bahamas thing. And she's like, why do you say that every time? You fucking idiot. And I'm like, it's Thomas Bahamas. Don't you get it? She's like,
Don't you get
yeah, I get it. It rhymes.
Don't you get it?
I love living with someone who's just so sick of my shit. It's great.
I know.
Great. I can,
I've pissed off so many people at work with my pun/dad jokes, and they're just like, they just groan and laugh at the same time. And I'm like, yeah, suck it.
yeah, I hope you die. I hope you get in a car wreck on the way home.
No, this just went dark.
Oh, that's just me. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
What? You never wish someone got in a car wreck and died?
No.
Like, not even a coworker or a family member?
This side of the table is definitely on the has wished people to get into a car accident on their way home.
I mean, I
You guys know we're on the internet, right?
I can think of like
Yeah, my family.
What?
doesn't
a
care.
couple.
It's not illegal to want death for people.
Yeah,
Or
as long as you
serious
don't act on
dismemberment.
it.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And prove it. You can't.
Have you or a loved one had thoughts of serious death or dismemberment?
Yes.
Have you wished someone or their loved one would contract mesothelioma?
No, because I want it to go quick.
Some people.
Contemplative harmony.
Sam Jones was on 3 episodes of Renegade, all playing different characters.
Renegade.
And 2 episodes of Thunder in Paradise.
Playing two different people.
That was a two-parter.
Oh.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Finding the big guns, huh?
Mm-hmm. Also 2 episodes of Baywatch. Also a two-parter.
Ooh.
Oh, man. It's a lot of action to pack.
Call
into
them all 2 parts.
90 minutes. Two-part Sam.
Old 2 parts.
Yeah. That's what I call my balls.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because they're old and there's 2 parts in them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Dude, there's a vast difference between your dick and your balls.
Yeah. This is why we get 67 whole views on the live stream.
Hole.
I keep going if you like.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go for it.
Just
Just
I'm enjoying
marathon
it.
this shit.
Dig myself in.
I'm enjoying it, Thomas Bahamas.
Yeah.
yeah.
Watching a Donathan Swayze movie.
Done
Oh, man. You got a runny nose.
Oh, we shouldn't have done all that cocaine.
Man.
Fuck.
We had to smell if it was still good or not.
Yeah. Well, we just need to get in the spirit of Sam Jones.
Yeah.
Aw.
Well,
Did he have a drug problem?
No. No. No.
He was in the 80s.
yeah.
All
Yeah.
in the 80s.
There's a vast difference between how he sounds in Flash Gordon in 1989.
Oh, he was dubbed in Flash Gordon.
Okay.
Was he?
Yeah, he was entirely dubbed
Oh,
because
okay.
he had at the time a thicker Texas accent than he has.
I did not realize
Yeah.
that.
Now, he wasn't Billy Blanks dubbed like Billy Blanks was in this, but
Mm.
why does BJ get a separate hello, Bill? Bill.
Hello.
Bill.
You know why?
Probably because he's the only one that ever types in the chat.
Oh.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
Oh. We should type in the chat.
Ah, overrated. Everybody there sucks.
Oh.
There.
Whew. Chat.
I took that very literal.
Mm-hmm.
I typed in the chat.
We can see that.
Yeah.
You didn't have to tell us.
I
We
just
can
did,
see
though.
We saw it because
See, but the chat will disappear when people watch this later.
no,
Or
chat's
does
always
it, or
there.
does it stay now? Okay.
They've actually done it like
Is it timestamped
like
now?
it's commented?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty cool.
it is. It's
I
great.
see.
It's really great. BJ's the moderator, huh? I was
Yes.
unaware of
I
this.
don't think BJ's a moderator.
I've banned a few people.
This ain't Discord, friend.
Told them
I mean,
get out.
I do have a wrench next
You
to
do
my
have a
name.
wrench.
That means I am a
Don't
moderator.
we all?
Yeah, we do.
Yes, we do.
Actually,
He doesn't.
yeah, BMFcast doesn't.
BMFcast doesn't need it
It
because
just
Bamfcast
has a
gets
yellow
highlighted, though.
highlighter.
it's the owner of the channel.
Yeah.
It's the highlight of the entire chat.
I see.
So do we want to
No.
talk about this?
Yes, we
Ricky?
do.
We got to talk about how he enters the room.
Yes.
44 people have seen this on Letterboxd.
Well, that's about to go more because I haven't put it on there yet.
Right?
I don't know how
Good
words
call.
work, okay?
No.
Good call.
That's obvious.
I'm going to add it to Bad Movie Fiends podcast
You're
films.
supposed to say clearly.
Oh.
Are you okay?
Yep.
All right, welcome to the BMFcast.
Hey, BMFcast.
BMFcast.
Bamfcast.
Episode 470.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nope.
What?
Oh, my God. So I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
BJ.
I'm Chuck.
And what we do each and every episode of this here BMFcast is we go and we watch ourselves a quote-unquote bad movie.
True.
Then we come in here and talk about it for the first half.
True.
Then we give it ratings. Good bad movies, enjoyable bad movies. They get 1 to 5 Joxes and Robot Jocks.
Robot Jocks. Yay.
However, There are bad movies. To stay away, they get a negative sliding scale. 1 to 5 bags is in giant bags of trash.
In which they belong.
Get them out.
Yuck.
Huck 'em in the bin.
What, in the bin?
Huck 'em.
Oh.
Huck 'em.
Huck them in the bin.
Yeah.
Huck 'em in the bin.
So we're watching some Force movies because we're in the middle of Force Majeure.
We are.
Yeah.
You know it's a good theme month when we can't get through
Say it.
saying it without getting a
Majeure.
little chuckle.
So dumb.
A chuckle.
It really is.
You came up with it.
Yeah.
But Force Majeure and then Force Majeure. That's
Yeah.
pretty good. Come
Force,
on.
sorry, Force Majeure.
Major.
And Force Majeure.
Sure.
You got to put the emphasis
I like how
on the
Chuck
correct
says it like
syllable.
David Tennant saying the June.
Yeah. But
Force
this
Majeure.
this Force week brings us 1989's Driving Force.
Driving
Driving.
force.
That is what we watched.
Do we want to do plot summary?
I think we
Yes.
should,
Okay.
and I think you should be the one to
I never
read
know
it.
if we should do this and then do the whole cast thing
Nah.
or
Plot
or
first.
plot first. All
Do
right,
it.
First.
fine. In a futuristic time, a fierce band of marauders, the Black Knights, rule the road and everyone on it. Into this chaos comes a fearless warrior to challenge them. Together with a tough, beautiful woman, he pits himself against these destroyers.
Okay.
That's
It's a kind of
that's a grandiose way of describing this movie.
That's a back of the VHS box. Please rent this movie description.
It would work.
It's one of the reasons I picked this movie. I was like, that sounds dope.
Sure.
Yeah.
well, who's all in this movie?
Sam Jones
Mm-hmm.
returns almost immediately
Pretty close.
using one-man force, maximum force, and then extra Jane in the Lost City.
right. No force on extra.
He also might have been Flash Gordon.
Yeah, little thing.
Yeah.
He might have done that.
Yes.
Also, Billy Blanks, usually a sign of a Five Jocks movie, because he was in Blood Fist, Lionheart, King of the Kickboxers, Back in Action, and Tough and Deadly.
All of those are really good.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure all of those scored pretty high. He's not in this much.
Nah.
I'll
No.
warn you there. Did we figure out if was this his first credit?
I think. Yeah.
It's real early.
It's
You don't
super
get the
early.
Billy Blanks you want.
No.
Let's put it that way.
They're not using him right.
Yeah. But it was also written by Patrick Edgeworth, esteemed writer of BMX Bindits.
Beandits.
Oh, the Bandits.
Right.
This was Billy Blanks' third, by the way.
Okay.
Okay. Early in his
Right.
Blanksing
youth.
career.
You don't have to censor yourself.
Okay.
I mean, technically, it's his second movie. It's his third credit. He was
Third
an
credit.
episode of Spencer for Hire.
Ooh, uncredited even.
Did,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was a TV.
did he hire Spencer?
I don't know.
Oh.
Never seen the show. I don't know how
I
that
don't
works.
by his
Was
name.
Spencer a prostitute? I don't know.
No.
No.
Spencer was Robert Urich.
He was a handyman.
So you're saying Robert York can't be a prostitute?
Yes, especially now.
Well, fine.
yeah.
You have me on a technicality.
Yes.
Yes, he was a handyman.
Yep.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
did Odd Jobs. And Commander Cisco was his buddy.
Okay.
He did Odd Job. Are you sure he wasn't a prostitute?
Pretty
Hey,
sure.
don't play Odd Job. That's cheap.
You can tell the age of your handyman by if they have named themselves Spencer for Hire.
Yeah.
Or they're just named Spencer.
Yes.
Yeah.
For Hire.
Right.
Anyway, there's some other people in this. Catherine Bach from the Dukes of Hazzard.
Right.
is in this.
Oh, yes.
I mean, these are not BMFcast alums. I'm just naming some other notable people who might
Welcome
be in
to
this.
the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also Donathan Swayze.
Yep.
It's
I'm-
just done.
Agree to disagree.
Well, all right then.
I don't know how we all latched on to that, but
It's funny.
it's
I-
taken on a life of its own.
I don't know that I ever really speak it out loud, but in my head, I am constantly like,
Calling people the wrong name.
well, I'm constantly like taking the shortening of somebody's name and making it into a dumb version of a long name, like Donathan or Billiam or Jonold.
Man, fucking Twitter has destroyed us.
Yeah,
It's ruined us.
But yes, it's Donathan Swayze, brother of Patrickus Swayze.
Yeah.
Oh, Patrick.
Yeah. Man, Don Swayze, somehow this is our first Don Swayze movie, but he's like if they tried to clone Patrick Swayze, but like got too much grease in the tube or something.
Just fucked it up a little
Yeah.
bit.
I never thought I would see someone greasier than Norman Reedus, but
Yeah,
I think I
he was
have.
a little reedy.
I think I have.
Yeah. One other BMFcast alum is attached to this that we didn't find out till the closing credits. Grant Page did the stunt supervision for this movie.
Sounds
So,
about right. Yeah.
Mr. Stunt Rock,
Yes.
Ah, yes.
working hard in Australia.
Oh yeah, he's from Australia too.
He is,
He
yeah.
has, he has an accent.
He is an accent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Right. All that.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Um,
this, all right. So this is a post some sort of apocalyptic future. I wouldn't go full apocalypse. It's really just more an economic collapse, I would think. But
yeah,
that's,
but I think some people overreacted.
sure. But I mean, typically in a movie like this, you either do fantastic world building or you have a text crawl to go like, "Hey, just so you know, some weird shit happened, and that's why this is happening."
Yeah.
So this is one of those movies that decides to do neither. So
The only explanation is a throwaway line about an hour in where someone just says, "Man, the economy's real bad, huh?"
yeah.
And the other person goes, "Yeah."
But somehow this, whatever's happened in the world, tow truck drivers have decided to basically Mad Max the world, whereas the rest of the world is just trying to exist.
Yep.
Albeit
Currency
pretty
is just
shitty.
like
Yeah.
wrecked vehicles. That's how you get paid.
Yeah. But
No
yeah,
new cars are being made. It's just can we get this old piece of shit put back together? And so the tow truck drivers are basically like ambulance chasers and tow truck drivers all at the same time.
well, if ambulance chasers, if they actually ran people off the road to then, you
Yes.
know, be their lawyer. But yes.
Yes.
But yeah, that's what this is. Is like that's our opening scene. Is just person driving down the road and Jonathan Swayze is like, let me run him off the road.
It is notable that in this movie, the rich remained rich.
Yep. Yeah, everyone who had money is still okay.
Anyhow, carry on.
If you were working for a living, you're fucked. So
the more things change, the more they stay the same.
amen.
But yeah, it's running people off the road
Yeah.
to get their car essentially.
Yes.
And in no particular order, we see this happening. You know, like they're the true outlaws. The Black Knights are like the true outlaws of this road. Like they're do whatever, like murder people, take their car.
They're just dicks.
I guess because there is a scene. It's not the next scene that happens, but there is a scene where they have obviously just done this. We didn't get to witness this, but like people are all over the road dying in various states, and they're just like, need your signature.
yeah.
And I guess there's still some form of law that like you have to have paperwork to claim their car, but so they're just like making these nearly dead people sign stuff, you know, scribble whatever.
Yeah,
and-
so there's still courts.
yeah, there are because that comes up too.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so like that's our evil gang, and that's what they're doing, and we don't really know any more about that. Like you don't know. There's things that make it seem like there's a darker meaning or like some ulterior motives happening for some people, but then it never comes through. It never goes full circle. But yeah, it's just they are a tow truck gang that has no scruples, and there are other ones that I don't understand why there's this many tow truck companies in this small amount of this small area, but that's what it is. It's competing tow truck
Got to
companies.
get that
basically.
gold.
But yes, Sam Jones shows up at one of these other. I mean, I guess it's a tow truck company, or if this is an arm of it, because there's a long line of people waiting to get a job, and he's just like, "Hey, I really need a job. Look, I got a 7 or 8 year old daughter."
Look, child.
Yeah, and then she right on cue is like, "We won't be a family if you don't give us a job. Boo hoo!" And the lady's like, "Fine." And so he is now also a possibly outlaw tow truck driver.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's pretty much like like the next scene of them cleaning up this wreck is kind of him driving up to it, but gets into, because we see him driving down the road, and then there's Don Swayze again, like just, I'm going to run him off the road now.
Yeah, and it's not clear that they're not working for the same organization at
No.
first. You know, just like, oh, well, okay, they're both going after the wreck, but it's like, no.
It's not even clear it's an organization. Like
Sure.
they,
There's no
he
name.
is,
in
but
it.
Don
Yeah.
Swayze just seems like a rogue.
He's just a dick on the highway. Just like, man, I fucking hate everybody. Because, yeah, so they get into, like, they're both on both sides of the road going down it, and then here comes this other guy, who is Pete, eventually. And he's, you know, basically has to swerve out of the way, and you damn kids. And eventually, Don Swayze runs Sam Jones off the road, which is just then Don Swayze just goes honk honk and then just drives on by to get to the thing. And the guy who ran off the road drives up behind Sam Jones and just starts choking him out and pulling him out of his tow truck like, you son of a bitch. And he's like, oh, you son of a bitch, it's you. Hey. And it's like, yeah, it's me, it's you. And they know each other and they are friends.
Steve. His name is Steve.
Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's your setup. And prepare yourself for scenes just happening. Like, they will just go to a moment in time and you see 12 seconds of what someone is doing and then we move right on to something else. Time is a blur in this movie. An absolute blur.
Is it?
It's only shown to time elapses with wipes.
Yes. Yes.
There's a lot of wipes in this movie.
Some
Yeah.
diagonal wipes.
No star wipes.
No star wipes.
No.
So is it the next time they compete where he actually gets like laid out on the road where we're introduced to Catherine Bach, who just
No, he eventually gets to this accident scene.
oh okay
And
that's right, he ends up having a fight
because he's like, hey, you ran me off the road, you
Well,
son
no,
of a bitch.
And he also tells them, he says, hey, those people aren't dead.
Yeah.
yeah
He's like, you're doing it wrong.
And
You got to kill them first,
Yeah.
and then you can take their cars.
and he gets smashed into the hood of a vehicle
Yes.
and knocked out for the first time.
Yeah, Don Swayze hits him with a tire iron.
Yep.
yeah, he's just laid out in the middle of the road, and Catherine Bach is driven up by some rich dude in a car.
Yep.
And she just gets out and gets along like, hey, look at my legs shot, and
'Cause,
then
you know.
yeah, her and yeah, just walks over and they have like he kind of wakes up and they have like a flirty dialogue exchange.
He's just
it's-
like, oh my.
He's like, yeah, you can take me home. And she's like, I'm not that kind of girl. He's like, I know. That's why I'm asking.
He just kind of rolls over on his side, puts his hand on his head, elbow on the concrete, just like flirting with her as he's, laid out in the middle of the highway.
And also, there's a guy in the background just going, honey, we got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But eventually, he's like, I'm all right. And then she leaves. And then the cops come. And it's like, you have lawless cops, too, because they're like, oh, yeah, you're blocking the road. That's going to cost you a donation to the
Yeah.
Smiling Cop Fund. It's like, you
Right.
give me some money, and then I smile. Haha, get it? We're cops.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. He says, this is Black Knight territory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he pays him and then leaves.
Yep.
And then,
And it's just Sam Jones and his kid go home to
Yeah.
their shit apartment.
I mean, I think, I'm trying to remember, like, how much happened in one day, because it may be...
You need to not do that.
well, no, because, like, at some point, there's, like, he gets screwed out of 2 wrecks by the Black Knight guys, so that he's about to lose his job. But I think that's, like, the next day or several days later or whatever.
Yeah.
But, yes, we see his home life where he lives in, like, this cardboard apartment in the slums.
Yep.
And they're just eating, like, muesli.
Muesli.
Yeah, which is just, homemade crap. I mean, it's just like trail mix. Pour some
It's
shit in it. Yeah.
Cereal-ish stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, they sell it in a box, and it's like, ooh, thanks. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, but yeah, and then the kid is just like never shuts up. Like, but Dad, can we get some real food? And Dad, can I do this? Dad, what is this?
Yeah. This is the grandparents show up at the house.
Right.
And it's just like, hey, give us that baby.
Well, the grandmother is out in the car, and the grandfather is
Yeah.
like, don't go in, dear. This is gonna mess it up. And he just shows up and is like, hey, wouldn't you like to come live with us in our palatial estate? Because we're rich. We have a driver and a Mercedes.
We have a driveway. Yeah.
You don't have to eat muslix.
You don't have to eat Mucinex.
And
yeah.
she's like, no.
I don't want it.
And yeah, then it's just basically like, look, Sam Jones, you didn't marry our daughter, so that's our kid. Give her to us. And he's like, I don't think so. And he's like, we'll see you in court.
Yeah, because she's the daughter of their daughter,
Right.
And Sam Jones and her never got married,
Right.
so
And
they're
she
like,
dead.
Yeah, and she's dead, so they're like, you don't have any legal custody to her on
Which is
paper.
not true.
Yeah, well,
Whatever.
Apparently in
we-
this world,
yeah.
that's how it works.
The world of mutant tow truck drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's an undercurrent for this whole movie is
Right.
this custody battle
Yeah.
between
and
the
again-
grandparents and Sam Jones.
And because this movie jumps around in time and doesn't have any sense of time, I'm just going to go ahead and spoil it. The thing that I was talking about earlier is they make it for half a second seem like the grandparents are behind the Black Knights doing whatever nefarious shit they're doing.
For half a second, you're like, I've seen a movie. I understand what's happening
Right.
here.
Because there's a mysterious phone call that is not her dad, and the kid's like, "Who is that?" He's like, "Don't worry about it." And
Yeah.
it's like,
And it lingers on
okay.
her doing the shifty eye thing, and you're like, oh, okay. Maybe that explains why Don Swayze is a dick, but no, it
no.
doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Never comes back up again. But yeah, that's skipping way ahead.
Yeah.
But yes,
We learn shortly after this, as the Black Knights go have a meal in a diner, that they're all dicking around and doing evil shit.
Yeah,
and-
this is the day where they've stolen 2 wrecks from him at this point.
Right.
And he's about to lose his job. Like he's radioed in, and she's like, 1 wreck a day minimum, or else you're out of a job. And he's like, well, okay. And
yeah.
so
He goes back there and is gonna Sam Jones is gonna steal one, basically.
yeah, they've pulled up to this like diner bar thing for the crazy
Yeah.
tow truck drivers.
But this is where inside Don Swayze starts coughing, and if you cough in a movie, that means you are dying,
Yes.
and it's true. He's dying.
But hopefully not true on a podcast.
But well, yeah. Well, we'll see.
All right.
But yeah, so Don Swayze has a terminal illness in this, and that is the entire motivation as to why he's an asshole. That's
Yeah.
literally it.
He
And they
didn't.
never
No. He didn't know he had a terminal illness. That comes later. Like he finds out he has a terminal illness because he goes to the doctor because he thinks he has cracked ribs, and the doctor's like, "You got cancer." He's like, "The fuck."
I know, but he was just kind of a haphazard asshole up until that point. But then once he learns he's going to die, he's like, I'm taking someone with me.
Sure.
And that's when the murdering starts.
I guess.
Well,
because, okay.
not really murdering.
Because up to that point, Don Swayze is just like driving up to wherever Sam Jones is, stealing his wreck, and just honking his horn and going, see you later, honk honk. And it's just like, what?
Yeah, he's done a lot of your ass is mine, you
Yeah.
guy.
Beep beep, see ya.
Yeah.
So
Well, yes, he steals the truck while he's in the bathroom coughing to death, and everyone else is just having fun. I guess.
and he ties his tow truck to a wreck so that when Don Swayze tries to give chase, it prevents him from doing so.
right. We call that the American graffiti.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But yeah, he just drives away and is like, "Suck it." And then, and what happens you think is going to happen. But what's funny is, like, at this point, Don Swayze's like, ha ha ha, that son of a bitch, I love it. And
Yeah, he really enjoyed this.
and we're like, okay, so he just earned the respect. It's like, you just have to, like, be
Yeah.
part of the asshole club.
They're going to be friends now, and then there's some really big bad going to show up,
Right.
or Don Swayze's going to team up with him to get his kid back or something. No, not at all.
Nah. But yeah, he gets to keep his job for now, and then like next day or whatever, because these asshole Black Knight guys are just like setting up wrecks. They've constructed some sort of like almost like a tire spike thing with an old bumper or something. Like they just put some metal out in the road.
It's like a fucking girder.
yeah,
Yeah.
but they just put like this metal across the road, and Catherine Bach is out driving.
Yeah, because she just broke up with her snotty boyfriend who decided to make a key to her house and let himself in. And she was like, no, thank you.
Yeah, not okay.
Get out of here. So, yeah, she was driving somewhere.
Note to listeners: don't do that.
Yes, no matter if it's the apocalypse or not, which we don't know if this is. But, yeah, so she hits that, and they're like,
All of a
hey,
sudden,
it's
here
like,
they
a
come.
lady, time to menace you. And immediately Sam Jones is there like, nah, not going to be doing that.
And it's the other two guys. It's Billy Blanks and the other dude.
Surf.
Surf?
His name is Surf.
Like surf, like to on the waves, or
Yeah.
like
No,
in
like
the
surf on the
kingdoms?
waves.
Okay, I didn't.
Even though he has a vaguely German accent.
I thought it was more like French, but yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's dubbed.
It was of indeterminate origin.
Right. He just likes wearing makeup.
It does.
He's like, we're getting close to the apocalypse, right? I can start putting on like themed makeup now because all through the movie he's like
practicing
applying
for the apocalypse.
Yeah, it's just like it's coming, right? I can wear like a mailman's outfit and we're gonna be a gang of dumbasses. Like what is it?
Yeah, he kind of looks like a lost member of the police.
Yeah,
we're gonna be the Hail Man.
yeah. And there was at one point when he does go like I don't know what day this happens where he goes and beats up Sam Jones's car or his tow truck. That he's basically wearing like a Flash Gordon outfit. Like his hair is super blonde, he's got the orange shirt on, and it's just like
Yeah, but yeah.
He also beats up Sam Jones in that.
he
Scene.
does. Yes, that's the second.
Yeah, the second time he gets knocked out.
Yeah, but Sam Jones basically rescues her and like kind of beats them up a little bit until they run off like, oh, he beat us up.
Yeah, and then they are friends / lovers now. Because like immediately it's like, come to my house, you and child.
There's also a section earlier in that where it's a whole motorbike chase
Oh yeah,
because they basically followed him home, and they are on black bikes,
Yeah.
proving that bikers are again assholes. And it's very much this reminded me of of Eye of the Tiger.
Yes.
Where it's like they just keep taunting the guy, and it's like, just fucking kill him already.
And
Like,
but
like
this-
quit pushing him to the point where he's just like, I'm gonna fucking murder all of you.
Right. But this motorcycle thing was right after Don Swayze being like, "Oh, you,
Yeah.
what fun." You know, it's just like where
And not just that, it's a motorcycle chase where he's taking his daughter somewhere.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah, he's taking her over to see the grandparents, I think.
Yeah.
And he does one thing where he stops his bike, and one of the guys chasing hits his front wheel into Sam Jones's back wheel, and that guy just flops off the bike. And when he tries to get back on, he's like, "Ow, holy shit,
Yeah.
my hip."
Yeah, and Billy Blanks is driving a trike.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the most personality Billy Blanks gets throughout the rest of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
at the
'cause-
beginning when they accosted Sam Jones, he does like a move and a half, like, "Oh, Billy Blanks," and then never again.
It's a mostly inconsequential scene, but I think it came before this. I only want to point it out because, look, I know she's like 8 years old, but people are supposed to wrangle child actors because it's like this movie can't decide if she's precocious or 2.
Yeah.
You know, because like he does this whole thing where he goes to a market and they follow him to a market, and you know it's a farmer's market out in the middle of nowhere basically, and he's buying some fruit and stuff, and then is like goes to one lady and tries to buy a dress for his daughter, you know, and then takes it home, and it's like it's a frilly like, you know, layer dress kind of thing, and it's like she's just like, what? No, nobody wears dresses anymore, and then like he's just like, but you know, you're a little girl, and she's like, that's so sexist, and it's
Yeah.
like she's 8, and then like 2 scenes later, she's got her doll, and it's just like, I'm scared of the dark. Can we? Why is mommy? I don't understand dead. Can I love people that are dead? It's like, what? Is she smart or not? Like it's just it flip flops from scene to scene where it's like,
It's the apocalypse, man. It
Yeah.
fucks you up.
I don't know. It's just it's so weird. It's like give the kid a direction. Like, you know, you're 8 and you're smart, or you're 2. You know, like
Yeah.
anyway. It's like I said, not important.
See, she was too young to have figured out the logistics of how behavior works.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, it's a bike chase. She's on the back, and they get away. And
Yes.
they hide in the back of a box truck, and they
Yep.
can drive past
Yeah,
them.
eventually get away.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah,
but
they-
but there's just been a lot of threatening whatever
yeah.
But yeah, as
from
you
Don
said,
Swayze. And
I mean, there's
company.
3 banks of scenes in this movie. There is Sam Jones getting menaced. There is Sam Jones hanging out with Catherine Bach, and there is the custody battle stuff. Those are the 3 buckets of scenes that we get, and they just throw them up in the air, and just wherever they land in the editing process is what you get. Sometimes they will just go from like Sam Jones sitting in a truck, and then all of a sudden he's back at Catherine Bach's house, and then it's the next day and he's not there, and she's at work, and then cut to later and they're in bed, and it's like, the fuck time is happening?
but
What-
yeah,
They do a lot of wipes, but not a lot of transitions.
yeah. I mean, but nearly immediately, like they go from like, hey, we're now hanging out and maybe possibly being lovers, to like, gotta go get my daughter, and like she's in the mix. So it's just like, it's a weird like, isn't that? I mean, I know
In
it's
the
a-
apocalypse, relationships, or in the pre-apocalypse, relationships have to move fast.
I guess so. Yeah.
You
it's
never
already-
know when some asshole's going to crash their truck through your house.
It's
and
true.
Maybe kill you.
I mean, it's a fast transition from like, hey, how you doing, to like, are you my new mom? You know, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I've had those weekends though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Haven't we all?
Yeah. But eventually they, like Don Swayze and company, because they continue to menace and threaten them, and this is when he's met up with his buddy. What's the old guy's name?
Pete.
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 And they're hanging out with Pete, you know, and Catherine Bach and the girl are there, and then eventually Swayze comes by and he's just like, hey, sucks about this old bike here, you know, and cuts the fuel line and then lights it on fire.
But
Yeah.
even before that, there was, as you said, there was one point where he's just, Sam Jones is doing tow truck driver things. Like he has a car in the back of his rig, and he just drives by. He's like, "I'm going to get you," and just like,
Yeah.
like your ass is mine, or that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And it's like, okay,
It's like, oh, it's on, and then he just goes, see ya, you know, and it's like, what?
Yeah, but they destroy Pete's bike,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
this leads to them going to the
the
company,
the management, arm of,
management
yeah.
of
Yeah.
of
Of the
whatever
Black
it is,
Knights.
of the Black Knights, and just being like, "You're going to pay for this bike."
They dump
Your
the
guys-
bike remnants on
Yeah,
his
they're
desk.
basically like, "Your guys have gone rogue. What the fuck? Here's what you owe us.
yeah.
Brand new vintage Harley Davidson, all that." And then that guy's like,
You take
He's
it
like-
up with,
"Yeah." He's like, "Donathan, what the fuck? Why you?" And he's like, "I got it handled." Got it handled.
Yeah. They
Is he Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2 now?
Got it handled.
they have a layer.
Whoa, fire lady.
They have a layer in the back of this establishment, which is just like a barrel that's on fire and 2 security monitors and half a car, which is serving as a lounge
couch,
chair.
yeah.
And they always have ladies there, but
Yep.
no one's really ever interested in it's always just like ladies are kissing on us, and then it's just like, fuck this, let's go fuck up Sam Jones. And like, yeah, and then they just get out of our way, ladies.
Well, the best
It's like a frat house. There's a few chicks who are just hanging around
Yeah.
every once in a while.
the best part about that is I don't remember exactly what fight it is, but there is the fight that leads Donathan to going to the doctor
Yeah.
because he thinks he's cracked his ribs.
Right.
And the doctor's like, "You've got cancer and like maybe 3 months to live."
Yeah.
And he's just like, chemo and stuff. He's like, "No, you ain't gonna microwave me, chemicals, and I'm not a vegetable, and all that kind of stuff." And leaves. But then there's a scene after where he's gone back to hang out with Billy Blanks and Frenchy German guy.
right.
And once again, one of the ladies is all over him, and he's just dead eye staring off. He's got that 1,000-yard stare.
So brooding.
And then she's just like, "What?" And he's like, "Come on, let's go. It's murder time. I can't get it up, but I got so little time to live."
Only boner I got's a murder boner.
But I'm just saying, like, of the disinterested ladies, that's the best scene
Yeah.
because he's just like, "I got the cancer and I gotta murder him."
For no reason. Like, literally, Sam Jones has not done anything except get revenge for the dumb shit that Don
they did.
Swayze's done to him.
Exactly.
Like, he hasn't tried to one-up him in any way. He's just like, stop fucking with me.
Yeah.
And Don Swayze is like, how dare you?
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
it's like the assholes that cut you off in traffic when you didn't do anything.
Right.
Like they angrily get over and
Yeah.
then look at you like, I'm like, dude, I'm in the right lane going the speed limit.
Yeah.
What the fuck is your problem? Like,
Yes, it's basically that.
Yeah. Eventually, at some point, he and Pete started their own tow truck company.
Well, okay, so what happened?
Because, okay, yes.
um,
Because at some point in the middle, see, I love, like you said, there's just a bucket. They threw it up in the air, and
Yes.
wherever it landed, that's where it landed.
Yes.
But there is a scene where Don Swayze and company, goad Sam Jones into coming out to wherever it is, and then they all gang up on him
Yep.
and run him into a hay bale.
yes.
well, like a hay
Run it-
barn.
He
Well,
runs
run him into a barn
He
full of
runs
hay.
into some stacks of hay. And then he's been in a coma for
wipe-
3 days.
And he's been knocked out for 3 days.
How
Right.
hard have you ever hit a bale of hay, Chuck?
pretty hard.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, but
He wasn't wearing a seatbelt. That's what did the real damage.
But this leads to him A, losing his job,
Yep.
B, losing his daughter.
Yeah, 'cause
because
they had the court
apparently
hearing.
They decided to have the court hearing while he was in a coma.
Right.
And the lawyer's like, well, because you decided not to show up for the court hearing,
But he
custody has been granted to the grandparents.
he learns this all at once though, because he has just woken up from
Yeah.
his 2-day coma.
Literally 2 seconds.
Bandages, like
He has a
got his-
Band-Aid on his head.
got his daughter's hand in his head. Catherine Bach is leaning all over him, like, "You okay? How long you been here? A couple days." And the lawyer and the grandparents storm in and be like, "Well, we'll be taking her because seeing as how you don't have a job." And it's like, "Oh yeah, I guess if you had to make a quota of 1 a day, he hasn't been working for 2 days, so
Yeah.
that bitch fired him." And and then it's like, "Oh yes, also we had the hearing, and obviously you weren't there, so they just were like, "Pff, of course."
Come with us, child.
Yeah, and they claim that the daughter's mother's name is on the birth certificate,
So
not
therefore,
his, and
he has
that
no
they
legal
are
claim.
they're officially the next of kin now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he just goes home with Catherine Bach, and he's laying on the couch like, "Oh, my ribs! I'm so injured from the hay," and this means sexy time, even though it's only
Yeah,
literally
he's-
2 seconds.
He's kind of not given much. Like he kind of gives a shit that his daughter's gone, but kind of not. Like it builds. Like the timing of it's all wrong
Yeah.
because there is a scene of them like walking out of the house, like when he's leaving the hospital,
Yeah.
like arm in arm with her,
Yeah.
and
It's like,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
let's
He's
go
like,
home.
"All right."
Well, to be honest, I mean, we've seen this daughter up to this point. A day or two off of her
Uh,
constant questions would be okay. It's after that you might start to feel
She
bad.
did seem to cock block him the first night at Catherine
Oh,
Bach's
God,
house
yes.
because like she was like, "There's a
Oh,
monster in my room."
They were
and-
down to like first she offered him coffee, which come on, everyone knows that.
Oh,
code.
right.
And then she was like,
yeah, it means
Andy's
Andy's
mints.
mints?
Yeah,
coffee.
she had a bowl full of Andy's mints and was like, mints.
Yeah.
and they touch hands
Yeah,
as
it-
they both go for
Well, yes,
a mint.
they lady and trimp the bowl of mints, lady and trimp the mints, and then she comes in and be like, "The bikers in my room," and they set up this whole thing where he actually goes and checks. He's like, "Well, that's stupid that you believe in monsters, but also there are monsters actually after us, so I better
Yeah.
go check. There's a whole dumb thing where the light bulb decides to blow right when he goes in the room.
To make it extra
Then,
spooky.
then we get a closet book scare.
Yes.
There's just some books leaning up against it, and then he's just eventually like, "Oh, they're not there. Okay."
All right, well, I'm going to stay here with her until she falls asleep,
Oh
Catherine Bach.
shit! We were totally forgetting the best one because like this is before the
Uh-oh.
monsters in the room, they go out to Catherine Bach's beach house.
Yeah.
And they're hanging out like out there,
Yep.
and they're out at like Sam Jones and Catherine Bach are like running around the surf, and she's just sitting there playing with her doll or whatever by herself, and Billy Blanks is out in a sand dune, popping over like looking and watching them,
Real slow.
real
Just
slow, like
tiny
you know,
head.
because he's got the big it's big flat top Billy Blanks, you
Yep.
know, so it's like it's pretty obvious that he's there, and the little girl just goes, "Go away," and then he goes, whoop, and lowers down,
just
and it's
slowly
like,
lowers his head
and it's like. Was she imagining that, or did that actually happen?
Like, do the bikers actually exist?
oh shit!
Is
This
she
became a whole
controlling
new
all
thing.
this?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she's like a little fire starter.
yeah.
That's why nobody actually dies.
Because they didn't
Spoiler
actually
alert:
exist.
nobody actually dies. Yeah.
Oh, except for
Well,
the
I don't
bikers.
know. I think the girl dies because she's not in the end of the movie.
Yeah,
Well,
that's a good
possibly.
point.
But, yeah. But no,
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like that's the setup of like, okay, maybe she's imagining the evil bikers, but she can tell them to go away, and
Yeah.
he does, like on
Yeah.
command. But
Yeah.
then there's evil bikers in the room, and again, they're not there.
Right.
But
Yeah.
So he's like, I'll lay with you until you go to sleep.
and misses sexy time with Catherine Bach.
Right. Because she's like, hey, Steve. And Steve doesn't wake up. She's like,
Yeah, she comes out of the shower.
yeah. She's like, oh, you.
She's like, "Hey, I cleaned up."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her name is Harry, by the way.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned
We
that.
don't really get to know why because it was a frosted shower.
Yeah, her. That was the day, by the way, she goes through 8 costume changes.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned that yet.
Every scene with Catherine Bach is a new outfit.
I mean, okay,
Including the
rich.
shower.
fine.
Yes.
She's rich.
It's fine if a character wears a different outfit in every scene. You know, we can easily recognize Catherine Bach for who she is.
Sure.
But that one day, she wears 5 outfits at least
Before the shower.
before the shower. Yeah.
6 birthday suit, 7 robe
Oh
afterwards.
no. 5 was including the shower.
Okay.
And then 6 was the robe.
Okay.
The other thing to note here, and it's because of this, it's during this outfit change. There is a point where Sam Jones, I think, is sitting with her on the bed, and he has this really bad like tank top farmer's tan,
Yeah.
right? And it's just
Oh,
like
that's when they're in the shack.
right. It's when they're in the shack together. But then we get to the day at the beach where
Right.
he's wearing said tank top later in the movie.
Yeah, they filmed all that at the same day, and then just like, okay, this part comes later. This
Right,
is, and
I
it's
just,
like,
it's out of order. Where it's just like, oh, why do you have such a horrible farmer's tan
Yeah.
thing with a tank top? And then it's like, oh, there you're out on the beach, in a tank top. So that explains that.
he's also acting like he's gotten sun poisoning because he is just like, yeah, well, yeah.
He's drinking a beer.
Yeah.
It's the first beer he's had since the pre-apocalypse started.
That's true. Well, she's rich. She has beer.
She has
Anyway.
one.
Yeah. So anyway, at some point, he and old guy Pete start their own
They
tow
do.
truck
They
company.
start their own
Yeah.
business.
and he's beaten Jonathan Swayze and everyone else to all the.
And this breaks them up. Like,
Yeah.
him and Catherine Bach break up because of this.
Yeah, because
just
she's like, I can't believe you're going back to this.
she's Talia Shire. She's, you can't win. And he's like, well, you don't believe in me. Fine.
Yeah.
And that goes nowhere.
Yeah, they break up for a little while, and at this time, that's when he's trying to call to speak to the daughter, and the grandmother's like, "Oh, she's not here.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna be able to talk to her.
Yeah.
Oh, let me talk to Brian or whatever the granddad's name is." She's like, "Oh, he's not here either."
They're just, no one's here. I
And then
don't know where
eventually,
they
she's
are.
just like, "Nobody wants you in our lives. Your daughter won't. Soon, your daughter won't either."
right.
Oh, and she's being, not being terrible because the grandparents are being terrible, but the daughter is just like not having any of it. Like every meal she won't eat. And then like the grandmother's like force feeding her something or other. And she's just like,
SpaghettiOs.
she like gets like 3 mouthfuls and it goes, "Bleh," it just spits it all over. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of great that like,
Well,
she's
and
got
then the
her own, like-
grandmother does the whole like, somebody, and this is with the part where we thought, okay, they set the whole thing up with Swayze and all them, because she gets a phone call, answers it, and like turns all serious,
Yep.
and then hangs up, and she's like, "Was that my dad?" She's like,
No.
no, it wasn't."
He doesn't love you anymore.
Yeah, he wouldn't call. He doesn't love you anymore. And she's like, "You're an evil witch."
Mm-hmm.
So at least the little girl's like not buying her shit. But this was a phone call where we're like, "Well, wait, that wasn't him."
Yeah.
that called. So she set everything up? Question mark?
You'd think, but no.
No.
Not really.
Nope.
Fuck. What? Okay.
And also, like, they have this weird thing where Catherine Bach, like, calls him but hangs up.
Yeah.
And she's like...
and she's
too
narrating it the whole time. Like, to
Gotta
nobody.
call him. I'm gonna call him. I shouldn't call him, but I'm gonna call him. What am I gonna say? Oh God, he answered.
She actually goes, but I want him.
Yeah.
She actually says those lines. Someone made Catherine Bach say that line.
This is like in her foreman's office at whatever dumb factory she works in.
Yeah. But she's narrating to herself, and she's like, but I want him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus God.
And then eventually he just shows up outside. And they're back together again. Just because he showed up and said, hey, how
He
you
also had a
doing?
sweet truck. I mean,
Yeah,
He
well,
did.
they had like an A-Team montage where they weld they're welding this thing, and you're like, what kind of rolling vengeance monster is this going to be? No, it's
Nope.
just a weird red blocky tow truck that they built.
it's
which,
like so. every other tow truck, and you should imagine tow truck is in air quotes for most of this movie, until this tow truck shows up. All the other tow trucks are like Volkswagen sized. It's like they took a Volkswagen and they cut all of the body parts off of it and put a little tow truck boom on the back. This is actually tow truck sized with a real tow truck boom, but they cut all the body parts off of it and welded a bunch of flat panels into ugly angles and then painted it "fuck you" red.
Yep. And then he goes out and starts getting, because he has the police band radio.
Yes.
He gets all the calls first and is able to get the tows before Don Swayze can get there.
And it also seemed like it was a faster vehicle, but
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, because they're all driving, like all the evil guys are driving, and even him before he got this ride are all driving like Mad Max kit cars, just like Mad Max in a box, okay, just weld this here. I don't know.
Yep. You too can be Mad Max. Yeah.
But yes, I think now they're back together and things seem like they're going all right. We still have Don Swayze and everybody brr, that guy.
Well, there's a weird chase through some abandoned area
Yeah, it just comes out of nowhere.
where it's just like, aha, and then like Sam Jones gets the upper hand on Don Swayze, and it's like, well, I bested him, and that's like the final motivation for like, man, I'm gonna kill Sam Jones.
Yeah, because his first stop is to drive over to Pete's place and drive through the building, and we think, oh, Pete's dead.
Yes.
Because he just drives through the building and the entire building collapses on him. We're like, oh, Pete's dead.
Which the whole time we're like, yeah, Pete's dead.
Yeah, everything.
That's the only reason to have this guy. We've seen movies.
Everything he's saying, it's gonna be great.
I'm
we're
getting
gonna fix
too
up
old for
cars.
this shit.
I mean,
And
this
he has,
movie was
some-
the same year as Roadhouse. We know how these things go.
And he's also got some old truck or car or whatever. That's it's his baby, and it's like all these things he's saying. It's like, oh, you're so dead.
yeah, like he's going to explode in that car.
Yeah. Well, also I'm almost done with it. It's my baby, or something.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
It's like,
you're
oh,
dead.
you and that car are dead.
But so he gets driven through the house. And we're like, oh, Pete's dead. And then Sam Jones and Catherine Bach are asleep in bed.
Yep.
And the phone rings, and at first you're like, oh shit, someone's calling to tell him about Pete, but it's not. It's the grandparents going, well, where is she?
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you talking about? And they're like, we know you took her. And he's like, you mean Becky, my daughter? And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, where is she? And he's like, I didn't take her.
And then you're like, oh shit, Don Swayze stole his kid.
Right.
That's pure evil.
yep.
No.
No, he goes.
She just ran back to the old
he goes back to his
house.
shit house apartment place where she had a key, and she apparently has eaten all the candy bars or whatever because she's just chocolate face and just like, don't hug me too hard, I'm gonna puke, And they're like, oh, why'd you do this? And then apparently because again time a wipe comes along and some time has passed.
Yeah.
It's later that same night.
Yeah, they went back to sleep.
They went back to sleep. They collected her, went back to Catherine Bach's place, I assume with her, and they get another phone call, and it's the grandparents going well, since she ran away, we're having second thoughts, and you can keep her. We just want to be able to visit her.
She obviously, if she ran away on her own and went back to you, that must mean that she wants to stay with you, and so we relent.
Well, there's
And
been this
they're
undercurrent.
done.
Yeah, right.
They're
Yeah.
that's
Well,
it. That's
yeah.
resolved.
But yes, there's been the undercurrent of the grandfather's like, all right, let's be reasonable about this. Let's do that. And the grandmother just been like, no, absolutely not. We're cutting him out of the life entirely.
I think her first line was, "I want that child."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Give me that baby. I want that baby. Yeah. But then, he's on the phone just like, well, we gave it some thought, and you keep her. And it just pans over to the grandma on the couch just bawling her eyes out.
Well, sort of.
Well, whatever. But that's it. That story is resolved.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you're like, okay. And then so they go to the beach to celebrate. And this is when the movie gets real.
But it's just Becky and Sam
All right.
J. Jones.
They wake
Yeah.
up Catherine Bach, and it's like, come to the beach. And she's like, no. And he's like, all right. So then you're like, well, Catherine Bach's dead. So they go to the beach, and Sam Jones is just down on the beach fucking around. And
Well, he said, like, she's like, oh, he's like, I'm thirsty. What about you? And she's like, I'll go get you a Mountain Dew. And this product placement takes me right out of the movie. But she goes up to, like, there's this weird, like, Catherine Bach's got this, like, semi-palatial estate. Not quite like the establishing shot we see a billion times at the grandparents' place.
yeah, but she's got a heroin trailer up on a, on a ledge on a cliffside where they just hang out. And so the kid's in there pouring a Mountain Dew for her doll and having, like, commercial conversations with this doll.
It's weird because, again, like I said, it's like nobody understood, like, how kids work and, like, age and stuff like that. But, like, and also whatever the fuck is going on, like this terrible dystopian future thing, she's like having conversations like, oh, you're trying to watch your figure, why don't you try Weight Watchers? It's like, no, you're 8. Whatever the fuck has been going on a while because everything is dilapidated and there's, like, trash everywhere.
Yeah.
So, like, there's no fucking Weight Watchers. And
Maybe she just has a bunch of old shitty magazines.
Maybe, yeah.
Old
who knows?
Women's Day magazines.
Who knows? Maybe she found him at Catherine Bach's house where they still say things like, I want him.
Possibly.
Yeah. But
She had a stack of, like, Vogue magazines next to the
She
bed.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
but anyway, so
She's
like
got to have like a Southern Living or something.
yeah,
around
she's
there.
just having a Mountain Dew tea party with her doll or whatever, and had doing both sides of her dad and hers voice.
Uh-huh.
And then the genius bikers roll up. I don't remember which one it is, but one of them is like peering at the window and like, oh, I heard him. He's in there. She's talking to him, and it's like, are you kidding me? That voice that the 8-year-old was doing that sounds nothing like Sam Jones. Then like that, and you're
It
like,
worked, yeah.
they're both in there. Let's get them. And yeah, she's in this trailer that they take their tow trucks and start pushing it towards the side of the cliff that it's on. To which Sam Jones is running, like, going, Becky! And they push this fucking thing over the cliff with the
Yeah.
8-year-old.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, they murdered that child.
And Becky is dead.
Right.
No.
No.
Nope.
He gets in there and is like, okay, we're getting you to the hospital. So they load her up in Catherine Bach's half Jeep.
I also like that they are high-fiving and thumbs-upping
Oh,
each
yeah.
other on the top of the cliff. Like, yeah!
We murdered that
We
child.
did it!
Now, they thought they killed both of them, to
Yeah.
be fair.
But
There's still a child
they thought they
involved.
I
killed
know.
an 8-year-old.
I know. They're just evil because the script says be evil.
Yes.
I look, I get Don Swayze is on like a mission to take someone with him. I understand that. Why his two buddies are going along with this ride, I don't understand that at all.
Because it's the pre-apocalypse, baby.
I guess.
Do whatever the fuck you want.
One guy's
Yeah.
already getting geared up.
Yeah. So they are hauling ass to the hospital, and they pass by one of them in one of their tow trucks, and that guy's like, "Holy shit, he's still alive," and gives chase. And they have to take a detour into like a warehouse.
They have a 10-minute yakety sax chase.
It's like Bumper Cars, the movie, as they just skid around this place.
Keep in mind that the 8-year-old is in the back. Like, it's Catherine Bach in her not Dukes of Hazzard Jeep.
Yeah.
With the 8-year-old like laid out in the back with like
Just with a blanket.
with like a half inch of tailgate. You know, like if you hit a bump just right, like she's gonna fly out the back.
Yeah.
Because she's unconscious and nearly dead. And then Sam Jones giving chase in the tow truck, and yes, like right on her ass. And then it's like, yeah, they start chasing them. So so she has to start careening in her Jeep while Sam Jones is in his giant tow truck.
Yeah, so like Catherine Bach is just doing like circles around this warehouse trying to get away from them. Sam Jones has caught up to Billy Blanks, and they are side by side, locked in a death battle until Billy Blanks just runs straight into a pillar basically, and he explodes. That car explodes, and Billy Blanks is dead.
He's dead.
Yes. The other guy, Surf, has caught up to Catherine Bach and has trapped her in the outer doorway of this warehouse, and is just crashing into the back of the car where the girl is.
Yeah. Basically like, haha,
Yeah.
you're not getting this child to the hospital.
Right, and Catherine Bach is just losing her mind, appropriately losing her mind.
Yep.
And then Sam Jones fucking T-bones this truck.
Oh, yeah. Fucking murders this
Dummy
guy.
flies out of it. It explodes too.
Well, they killed Billy Blanks before that.
Yes.
Billy.
Yeah.
Oh, do you say that?
Yeah,
They ran him into a
yeah. Into a pillar. Yeah.
Yep. And
But that was our first explosion. Like,
Yes, finally an
I was saying,
explosion.
lots of things have collided in this movie.
Right.
That was the first.
None
one.
have exploded.
Yeah.
yeah. So now it's just Sam Jones and Don Swayze. and Don Swayze just kind of
the
fucks
dummy,
off.
The dummy flying out of the truck was a really nice little touch.
It was.
I like
yes.
it.
Yep.
Yeah. So
But
okay,
yes.
Don
But yeah,
Swayze fucks
dummy
off.
flies out, it blows up.
They haul ass to the hospital. Get to the hospital. Next thing we see is
Well,
she's outside, and Sam Jones pulls up because
Right.
he still had to deal with. He fucks with Don Swayze for a while they take off to the hospital.
Yeah.
He eventually gets there, and she's. This doesn't make sense. She's just out there like she's fine. She's gonna be totally okay. And then at Jaws shark out of nowhere, Don Swayze is just like meh, meh, and she pushes Sam Jones out of the way, and he murders her with his truck. Except no,
She just hurt her knee.
she got a scrape on.
I mean,
Well, we think she's fucking
now,
dead.
Now, to be
but-
fair, like, all right, if you've seen people get hit by cars, there's several ways that could happen. You can like get sort of sideswiped and pushed out of the way. No, this is car goes over her.
Yeah.
You know, like one of those, like dead in the center of the car, bam, hit the ground, and then car goes over you.
Yes.
Like you're dead. Like
Yes.
that's how that works.
Yes.
There's a lot of moving things under a car,
Yes.
including wheels and the weight of the car. But yes, so Catherine Bach has been murdered, only not.
Right.
Also, Pete has been murdered, only not because prior to this, we saw him like a couple of band-aids on his head, just going like, "No for this bullshit," and
He walked into the wreckage of the place where he was, and he acts like, "Would you look at this shit?" Like he just discovered this. It's like, no, you were there.
You were in it. But like he's got a couple of scrapes and like band-aids on his head.
Yeah.
And he like puts on his leather jacket, grabs a pair of bolt cutters, and I guess he had a backup motorcycle because he takes off on that.
Yes.
So I'm just like,
And dynamite. He grabs dynamite.
yeah,
right.
Which
I don't know that we saw that. Did we see him do that, or did that? Just
No,
kinda-
we didn't know.
yeah.
Well,
he has a satchel
yeah,
of some
we
kind.
figure it out.
Yeah. Because he drives to.
Well, that happens. Like this is. I was just saying that like him gearing up or whatever and not being dead was prior to all of his other nonsense.
Right.
And then the rest of it plays out, I think, just after this.
Yeah, because like he drives up to the diner / office of the Black Knights or whatever, Pete does, and goes over to the gas tanks basically and drops the dynamite in there and is about to light it when Don Swayze just casually pulls up and he's like, "Hey, wait!" and goes and just beats the shit out of Pete and then cuts off one of his fingers with the bolt cutters.
Yeah.
And then, like, Sam Jones just pulls up, also casually, like Don Swayze isn't there. He's just like, wait, Don Swayze's here. Wait, what are you doing to Pete?
Oh no, he was he was there for murder because they just ran Catherine Bach over. Like,
No, he didn't look like... He looked like he just pulled up like, all right, time to get some gas
Well,
or whatever.
all right,
Wait,
but-
what? Don Swayze's here? The fuck?
I mean, I'm pretty sure
that was how it was presented.
Yeah.
Like, it may have actually been that he was coming for revenge.
yeah, but he acted like just, well, I need some... What the shit? Yeah. So, yeah, then it's just them chasing each other around in
They
trucks
kinda
again.
just ram each other back and forth until he eventually backs him into the headquarters or the diner place,
Crashes him into the diner.
and then kind of gets him stuck there. And then somewhere along the way, the gas line is like now leaking out all over everything.
Yeah, because they've crashed it into that. They've knocked that over, so now there's gas just pouring out. And Don Swayze just kind of gets this look on his face like, well, you got me. I'm going to die anyway. Might as well light this cigar that I've been eating the whole movie.
And take you out with me,
Yeah.
I think is what he thinks.
Because he's just like going to light it, and then he just looks over at the gas and is just like, nah, and throws it into that, and then everything explodes. Sam Jones hops out and goes and grabs Pete and drags him away before everything explodes, but everything explodes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just cut to what looks like the grandparents' house because it's the big palatial estate with the pool and everything.
Yep.
And Catherine Bach is just laying in a lounge chair with her knee in a bandage, and Sam Jones just strolls over to her like, "Hey, baby, what's going on?" And she's just like, "Oh, feeling a little better." And then they kind of just look at each other, and the movie freeze frames and ends. Like, we don't see this child.
I'm sure she was fine.
I don't think so.
they were at the grandparents' house, so
How you push that child off a cliff and then don't show her again doesn't make sense.
I have a theory that she's not so much like a fire starter, but like that girl from Poltergeist. And so, like, she was conjuring all these evil bikers and shit.
Yeah.
And possibly even this pre-apocalypse world that we're in.
Mhm.
And so, like, when she got murdered, everything started resolving itself because all of her,
She faded away.
machinations started going away. Yeah.
I don't know.
Possible.
I think they
Possible.
just filmed like 4 different endings and forgot.
Sure. I know.
And just
I
used pieces from all 4 in the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, we can film it. The girl dies. The girl doesn't die. Catherine Bach dies. Catherine Bach doesn't die. And then the editor was just like, I don't know. What do you want? No girl, but Catherine Bach. All right, fine. Here you go.
I don't know.
This movie's fucking nuts.
I mean, to be fair, the girl was probably still in the hospital. I mean, but
They're just lounging at the grandparents' house with the girl in the hospital.
Maybe it was the grandparents' turn to watch over the kid, and they were like, "Let's go back to their place and fuck," because we haven't done that yet.
True.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's over.
Yeah. I meant have some coffee and mints.
Yes. That's what sex is like in the apocalypse. Coffee and mints.
I thought that's just how sex was. Period.
What happened?
I've been
I'll
doing
show
it
you
so
later.
wrong. So wrong.
So wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't smell like it.
Yep.
So anyway,
Yep.
ratings.
Anyone have a rating for
I
this?
feel like this one's going to be all over the place.
I'm going to go 3 jocks.
Wow. Holy crap.
This movie is weird
I was not expecting
in a way that I really got behind. And the thing is, like, the least fun things are all the chase scenes.
Yeah.
All the chase scenes suck,
Yeah, the stunts
which
are-
is weird having Grant Page like being in charge of all this, but no, they're not good.
No.
Everything else, what the fuck? It's good. I liked it.
I mean, the only thing that's very Grant Pagey is that very first person they run off the road.
Yeah.
That car,
Yeah.
when it hits, it does some nice flips and
Yeah.
like looks like it kills a stuntman, which I feel like is the signature move of Grant
Of the
Page.
Grant- yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, somebody died in that. No, they're fine. Okay. Fucking Australians.
Yeah. And I mean, come on. The movie has the guts to push a child off a cliff inside an RV.
Yeah.
3 jocks.
You make some good points there.
I'm
not ready to rate it yet.
I'm very curious to hear what Chuck has to say before I go.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I really am.
I'm giving it a single jocks. This is a bad film. Like, storytelling wise, this thing fucking sucks. But there's just a layer of accidental charm to it, I guess, where it's just I was losing my mind at how these scenes were just starting and not stopping. Like, the end of a scene, the only thing that ends a scene is the fact that we've cut to another scene. They don't resolve anything in the scene they were showing.
And the person just shows up somewhere else.
Yeah, like
hey, they got out of that.
Yeah, every 12 seconds seems to represent a day. Like, this movie takes place over like 6 years. That child should be in graduate school by now. So there's that. There's the bonkers way that everything you expect out of a movie like this is subverted and done backwards. Like, every character, you're like, well, they're dead. You're like, no, they're fine. And then,
But they put him in a position to be dead.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do the thing that is like, oh, yeah, they're dead. And then it's just like, oh, no, they're fine. Like, it's...
Yeah, I love how unpredictable this movie is.
That's what it has going for it. It's that layer of unpredictability where it's just you don't know what's coming, and you're watching it like, oh, I've seen one of these, but you haven't.
Yeah, like almost every prediction that we had was wrong.
Right.
Because, the first time a character shows up on screen in some of these movies, we're like, oh, yeah, that guy's dead.
Yeah.
About 85% of the time we're right.
Yeah. And I mean, this is basically over the top, right? Just without the arm wrestling subplot, because wasn't that like Robert Loggia tries to take the kid?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, arm wrestling is no place for a son of mine, and truck driving and blah, blah, blah.
Well, plus, Don keeps putting his hat on backwards.
Yes, exactly. That was my first thought, and then I was like, wait, no, this is over the top, except without all of the over the topness. Like, this is a ripoff of a movie, and then they just forgot to do the actual movie ripoff stuff. Yeah, so I mean, it's worth a look, but wow, this thing is just bizarre. So 1 jocks.
I actually thought you were going to be in Pags. I really did.
I felt like it, but it just because the things that happen in the third act of this movie, like they push that kid off a cliff, and then you're like, wow, they killed that kid. And you're like, oh no, the kid's fine. But then you don't see the kid, and it's like, what the fuck? It's bonkers. It's fucking bonkers. So
I think I was sitting. I kept fluctuating between a 1 and a 2 jocks throughout most of this movie, and then that trailer went over the cliff, and everything changed. Like everything in my life changed, really. That was a life-changing moment. Like, I was not expecting that. And at this point in my life, there's very little that surprises me. And that was delightfully surprising. Not that I'm like, yay, let's murder an 8-year-old, but
No.
holy shit, they murdered a fucking 8-year-old.
We all burst out in laughter.
We kind of
As
did.
a
We were
child
Yep.
tumbled down the mountainside.
Yeah, just laughter and disbelief, like you do when someone is like super racist to your face. You're like, what?
yeah.
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 So I gotta go at least 3 jocks.
Okay.
I think I gotta cap it out any more than that because it is a bad movie. Like, narratively speaking, this is a bad movie. Like, it is it is directed incredibly poorly or edited very poorly. But what is happening is just insane. And by that third act, it is absolutely insane. And I think the biggest thing about it is, like, I've had nitpicks about the currency in a movie or whatever. Like, how does this work? The thing this movie needed was a fucking hit point counter for everybody because everybody should be dead in this movie.
Yep.
And nobody's dead in this movie except the 3 bad guys.
Yes.
Like, that's it. And maybe, well, some of those other random people on the road, but that, like, but I mean, like, of the main characters, like, only the 3 bad guys die, and there are so many other people that should be dead. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they just, like, had a Phoenix down in their pocket or whatever. Just, like, because, like, there's a bunch of people that come right the fuck back to life that should be dead.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah. So 3 jocks?
yeah, 3.
Okay.
Wild. There are, since we're going full bore video game references, there are like arcade beat 'em ups that have more cohesive storylines than this. In fact, probably most of them. It's so weird. You could have a 45-minute cut of this movie that is nothing but unduplicated scenes of Jonathan Swayze chewing on a cigar while driving. Like, just
Angrily.
close shots
Yep.
of him angrily driving with a cigar. It got to be at least 45 minutes of that in this movie.
If you put that together, you will spend more time editing than the person that made this movie did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is more of a linear storyline.
Right. I don't even know what to think about this movie. I think I'm going to rate it like this. Similar to how Chuck came to his conclusion, you should see this. Only for how bizarre this movie moves through time, and that's the minimum, like, recommendation. I didn't get quite the joy that you guys did out of it, or that you high jocks table enders over there. I'm like this movie. I don't know how to end this scene of me talking, so I'm just going to transition into, I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah. The last thing I want to say, just because I meant to
No.
say it, that trailer going over the cliff, I don't even think I was laughing. I was in complete and utter shock, like the bikers dragging the wife's coffin
Yeah.
in the Gary Busey movie. Like,
It is that
Like,
moment of motivation where you're
we're-
just like, wow.
I was just like, no, this can't, no, this can't be happening.
yeah.
Well, and then like 5 minutes later, they run over Catherine Bach.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
And
it
I mean,
even
they
5
have a
minutes
close up
later?
of his face going, "Oh my god!"
Yeah. But both these things happen. Like, they push his kid off a cliff and they run over his new lover, and he never rises to like this like just
Like,
white
"Fuck
rage
all
of
you,
just
I'm gonna murder. you."
raw. Yeah, yeah.
Sure, no, absolutely not.
Because
but
literally, after Catherine Bach gets run over, you don't see him again until he casually rolls up at the gas station at the
Yeah.
end. And he's not like just seething with rage. It's just
And he doesn't even find out that Pete got murdered, but not.
well, he that's what kind of motivates him. He gets there and sees Pete there.
well, Nine
But
Finger
he-
Pete.
But he found Pete at the gas station,
Right.
not at Pete's place.
No,
So
didn't
he
go to
never
Pete's place.
even had any idea of anything that happened to Pete.
Oh, yeah, he
in the
didn't-
intervening time.
Yeah, that motivating thing of potentially killing Pete did
Nope.
nothing.
Did nothing.
All it did was
Completely-
get Pete there so that there was dynamite in the gas tank,
Right.
so the place would explode extra good.
Pete was alive to get his own revenge, only he wasn't very good at it.
Yeah, no. Because as soon as he saw Don Swayze, he folded. Like, just,
Yeah.
He was just like, oh, God. Yeah. And then Don Swayze cut off his finger for no reason. Don Swayze, man.
Yeah.
Dick.
It's great.
Well,
Yeah.
should we take a break?
Yes.
Yeah, I
All
think
right.
so.
Man, that's a movie.
It is. It is a movie. I guess we didn't really mention that you can watch this on Amazon Prime.
You can watch it on Amazon Prime. We did.
We did.
Beautiful pan and scan.
Yeah.
Actually, it's probably just open matte.
And a weird transfer to the frame rate was hitchy.
So did Kevin Durant die?
Nah, he blew out his Achilles.
Again.
Well, no, he had hurt his calf
Oh,
earlier, and then he injured the Achilles, which takes a significantly longer time to heal.
Yes.
Who?
Kevin Durant,
On the Warriors.
baseball player.
Okay, cool. Left field.
Third baseman for the New York Metropolitan Transit Authority.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I have one second half thing.
They're playing the Chicago Transit Authority next weekend.
Oh.
Saturday in the park.
Saturday.
In the park.
I think it was the 4th of July. No Chicago fans, I guess.
It's all right. I like New York pizza better.
Am I the only one second half thing?
I don't think I have any second half things.
We have an email that I'll read.
Okay.
I don't believe that I have watched a movie.
Oh.
Wait.
Wait. Yep.
I watched Action USA this weekend.
Oh, shit. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Did you miss that the first go around?
I did.
No, I was here for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I feel like there's a couple big movies that you've missed, or both.
No,
of
that
you.
was an early 3-man pod.
Yeah,
Action USA is the one where everyone gets kicked in the balls, right?
No, that's
No,
Omega,
it's Omega
Cop.
Cop.
Mega Cop, okay.
Mega Cop is essential viewing.
Yes.
Omega Cop. Boom, 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 boom.
Omega Cop.
Omega Cop's the one with Adam West?
Yes.
believe he's in
Okay.
that. It might be a sequel, but no. I think
No, he's in the first one. He's in Omega Cop.
Okay.
Because he proposes to that lady by putting a grenade pin on her finger.
That's right, yeah. Omega Cop's the one I did go back and watch. I have not watched Action USA.
Yeah, Karate Cop, not as good.
Oh.
That's the
No.
one with David
Karate
Carradine.
Cop.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. Big disappointment. Big drop off.
Big drop.
Yeah.
But
But Action USA,
yeah,
you should see Action
watch
USA.
it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
There's one part that's just. There's one thing in particular that's just the best.
What, the part with the house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about your.
Oh, it's so good. God, now I want to watch Action USA again.
VHS is somewhere.
We have it up there? Yeah. Look at that.
And I like that it has the sticker that says "Action"
Yeah.
for the
As
the
if you
genre.
couldn't tell.
Yeah.
445 Jocks.
Who gave it 5?
Harlow.
for Action
We
USA.
only gave it 4?
I think
We were still.
I
on
think
that.
we wanted one-liners. If I remember correctly, we were like, he doesn't give us any one-liners at
Yeah,
any
there's-
point.
We were also still very much in the like, oh, if it doesn't meet Robot Jocks, here I come in peace. Like, fuck this movie. Like, we were still like very hesitant, I think, to give out 5 Jocks back then. Like, it had to be like, holy shit, this movie. Now we're like, we're loosey goosey with the 5 Jocks now.
not terribly. I think I'll save it for the second half.
Okay. I've just been watching a lot of Marvel movies. I don't think I have any new insights.
Okay.
Watching Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't seen them all yet?
Well, I just have one 2019 movie to briefly talk about.
Okay. 2 weeks. That was terrible.
God, that sucked.
Get better.
All right, welcome back.
Hey, BMFcast.
Yeah. Well, we're waiting on you. You're the one that watched the new thing,
Well,
Chuck.
usually someone says welcome back.
We all did. We all went, "Hey, woo, welcome back." Yeah.
All right, fine. I'll talk.
All right, cool.
Hey,
I
Chuck,
saw-
would you talk, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
I
I'm
saw.
sorry. Have you seen a new movie, Chuck?
I've seen a new movie
What?
From-
Please tell us about it.
from the year 2019.
Oh, man.
I know.
That's this year.
I watched the Lego Movie 2.
Oh, that is from this year, isn't it?
Yeah,
It is, yes.
I forgot they made that.
That's one of the baffling things about this movie is that it came and went, and it was just like, man, no one gave a shit about the Lego Movie 2. That's weird.
Everyone doesn't give a fuck.
It's especially weird after watching it because it's really good. It's not as good as the first one, but it is still really good. I'm just baffled by that movie's just like I like when the day it came out, I was like, that's out, and then like the next weekend, I was like, that's gone, and it was just it still made like $100 million or whatever. It did all right, but that movie was not the cultural phenomenon that the first one was. The first one was a major thing.
Oh yeah.
And this was just like, yeah, here's the Lego Movie again.
Well, I mean, people have had like a severe drop off. Like the first one was like, oh my god, this is crazy. I can't believe like they're doing Legos and look at the weird choppy animation and all this stuff. And now it's like Lego Batman, we're out there, that's pretty good. And then like Lego Movie 2, we're like, we don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
it's better than Lego Batman. And I like Lego Batman. I just think that movie runs out of steam. This one is it's very similar to the first one, but there's just something missing in it, and the only way I can really nail that down is like, so there's a bit in the first movie where Liam Neeson is trying to get his parents, who are also voiced by Liam Neeson, to stand still for a photo, and his dad keeps like Lego jerking around like it's this was like a production error, and they go with it. Like Liam Neeson is just getting increasingly pissed off that his dad won't stand still, and it's just this little like and it's just this little tiny joke in a movie that's not you can't really script it. It's just a weird dumb thing that happened. There's none of that in the second one. There's no like little crazy jokey tiny bits like that. But there's some adult references that are just like, wow, really? So
like Lego dongs. What are you talking about?
no. I just mean like for adults.
Lego nads.
Oh, Lego nads.
The other thing I'll say about it is that so it's similar to the first movie in that obviously, and this one kind of sets it up earlier in that there's a real world component to this, like the first one. The real world component to this one is strangely way more affecting than the first movie was. Like when the reveal of the stuff happens in the real world for the second one, you're like, oh shit. Like it's not like tragic or devastating or anything like that, but it seems to have a lot more emotional weight than it did in the first movie. So that's interesting. And the other thing, so Chris Pratt plays two roles in this. And without saying too much about what the second role is, it's another character that he ends up joining up with to go on separate adventures while the rest of the cast is doing something else. So Chris Pratt is doing a Kurt Russell impression as the second person, and that just made me laugh every single time. Because because of the Guardians of the Galaxy thing, he's just doing like a Snake Plissken Big Trouble in Little China vibe with this second character, but it's still obviously Chris Pratt. But he's very obviously doing Kurt Russell. It's very funny to me.
I mean, is it similar to like his I'm going to talk like Thor voice? Like this is how I talk.
No, he's doing Kurt Russell's
okay.
John Wayne swagger thing.
Gotcha, okay.
But you could tell. I mean,
Right,
that's
yeah.
what he's doing. It's not like he just accidentally did it. He's doing it. And every time it made me laugh. Just it's ridiculous. But you shouldn't sleep on that movie. That movie's great. Amazon sent me like an email. It was like, "Hey, this Blu-ray is $5. Do you want it?" I was like, "Yeah." That's weird to me. Seems like in every facet, no one wants this movie, but this movie's really good. So
That happens far too often.
I guess,
Just some sort of fatigue, and it's like, why? Like, this is a good movie.
yeah. It also didn't come out like February or something. It was some like weird like good movies don't come out now.
Yeah,
I don't know.
who knows?
Yeah, but it's good. It's really good. It's delightful, and it's more of a musical than the first one is. Yeah.
I'm in.
So
I'll watch that at some point.
it's cute. It's cute and fun, and legitimately funny. Like laugh out loud funny.
No, the first one was too.
Yes.
So yeah. Is it all the same team?
Mostly.
Okay.
Yeah. Like the two guys didn't direct it, but they did co-write it because they were busy getting fired from Solo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still watching Marvel movies. I think I said that one of the last ones where it was like I'd watched up through the Avengers. I think at that point in time, but now I've seen all the way up through Thor Ragnarok. So I'm almost
wow,
I'm
all
almost
right.
done.
Almost done. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah. Yeah.
you done been busy.
I agree. Like, I agree with my previous thing where I'm just going to reiterate. You should give Avengers 2 another chance. That movie's pretty good. I'm just
do not disagree with you.
no. I mean that's one of those movies. I think like I don't know. It's just totally so very different from the first one that it threw a lot of people off. But it's a good movie.
It's better the second time around once
Yeah.
you realize what it is.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
At first, that movie not really having a big bad kind of thing, you're like, and
Yeah, it's twisty.
yeah.
I mean, it's just interesting because I mean, Civil War is like a half Avengers movie.
Yes.
It's just like it's one of those weird things. Like everyone's like, "Oh, Avengers!" Like that's why I'm confused when people start referring to like Infinity War and Endgame as like Avengers 3 and 4, and I'm like, is it only that? Like it feels like so many more. Like because we've had so many of these like crossover team up movie things, and it's like it just feels like we've had more Avengers movies than that.
Well, Civil War was basically an Avengers movie.
That's what. Yeah. That's,
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I will be honest. I've not that I don't like them. It's just I've watched them both more times than the other ones. I've skipped the Guardians of the Galaxy movies so far because they're so divorced from the.
You can't pretty much watch them at any
Yeah.
time because
That's why I mean I feel like when I get to the end, that's when I'm gonna watch them because by the time I get to like Captain Marvel, it's like well now we're just jumping all over the place. So I can just watch these whenever.
You could have watched them in chronological order if you wished.
That would have been exhausting.
You think?
Yeah. Well, especially, I mean, if you get into, like, if you go for, like, one of those Godfather cuts, it means, like, all right, watch the first 3 minutes of Ant-Man, right, right
Oh,
after you
no,
watch
no, yeah,
First
no.
Avenger, and
Yeah.
then, like, shit like that.
most of the first Captain America and then
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, no, you don't want to cut it up like that. But so I did see.
oh yeah you do
I mean,
Go to-
true Marvel fans.
guaranteed
Okay.
at some point someone is, if they haven't already, they're going to make some sort of branching thing where you can literally watch it scene by scene across
They should.
everything.
The technology that is there.
That would be really neat.
Because, yeah, like I said, I mean, until we have something even older than First Avenger, right now it's like it's First Avenger. Stop it at the fade out when he crashes into the ocean because then takes place in modern times. Then
And Captain Marvel.
no Captain Marvel because like there's other Stark stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go full MCU, then you'd watch like all of Agent Carter.
Yep.
And then you'd have the scene from Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
Then you'd have like the flashbacks from Guardians 2 where it's
Yep.
in like this like late 70s.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm saying like it would get real weird. Like
It would be really neat if, like, on Disney Plus, they had the option to watch a character's bits from start to finish. Like, it would just pop you through the movies.
Yeah, I want to watch all of Hawkeye's bits.
Yeah, it'll be 75 minutes of him turning around, looking, and then firing an arrow.
Yeah. Actually, the only thing I want to say, because probably among the movies that I've seen the least number of times, that I don't know why, I think only because Into the Spider-Verse is so damn good, I started for no reason turning on Homecoming. No, I know. I've rewatched it now. Like I was going to say, like for some reason I was just like, man, I just like I think it's because it's like the only so it's like the redheaded stepchild of the MCU, because it's the Spider-Man thing,
Sure.
and they're doing other dumb bullshit with Spider-Man stuff that should be Spider-Man stuff, and so I was like, I don't think Homecoming was as good as I think it was and everything, and then I watched it again, I was like, no, Homecoming's really fucking good.
Yep.
Like that's a
Okay.
damn good movie.
Yes.
Because like somehow when I was hitting play on it, I was just like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to enjoy this as much as I did because Into the Spider-Verse is so good, and like I said, something about the whole Venom, all that side other crap, like just I don't know.
Yeah, but none of that counts. So.
Yeah, I mean it's still weird because I'm equal parts angry and happy about Sony because it's like if they hadn't held on to that license so tightly, we wouldn't have gotten Into the Spider-Verse, we wouldn't have gotten the fantastic PS4 game. I'm just like, it's weird that like I'm mad that because it's like just give them back fucking Spider-Man and let them do this right, But then at the other time, it's like, yeah, but this other shit's pretty good.
Kind of doing it okay.
Yeah.
Let's
It's
see how this summer goes.
It's the divorced anti-hero movies that can
Yeah.
fuck off.
right.
I don't have a good segue for this,
All right.
but I watched Action USA again this weekend. That's wild. I had forgotten almost everything about that movie, which means I got to experience it for basically the first time.
You almost watched that 9 years to the day.
Almost, yeah. That's a lot of stunts. That's
And
pretty much
action.
Yeah, and action. It's all action, and it all takes place in the USA. So,
Oh, wow.
10 out of 10 for accuracy of title.
Excellent.
The thing that I had really forgotten was God, what's her name? Barry Murphy. Carmen is the character's name. I'd forgotten just how bonkers she is. She just every scene she's in, she makes some sort of bizarre non sequitur, or she's acting like a complete fucking weirdo, and it's delightful. It's just it's so wonderful. I have told you I don't know if I've told the populace at large, but my girlfriend likes bad movies, and she's like, "Let's watch a bad movie."
That's
Boy, is
that's
that what she
amazing.
said?
It's a very accurate.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I was transported to another world
Right.
for a moment.
Wow, was she here for a second?
All right. And at the top of the BMFcast list, the list of movies that we've watched was Action USA, and she's like, "Action USA. That seems maybe interesting. Maybe we should watch that." I was like, "Okay, but maybe something else." "Oh, wait a minute. You wanted to watch Miami Connection, but it for some reason was not on our list." So we had to go back and watch Action USA, and I think it was a really good choice.
I will fix that for you.
Thanks, bud.
You're welcome.
Have you done Stunt Rock yet?
No, we haven't watched Stunt Rock yet.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot on the
sure.
470 movie long
I
list
just mean,
for us
like-
to watch.
Stunt Rock, man. That's just it's
Yeah.
fucking
Time.
Stunt Rock.
That's easy to watch, too.
Dude, and you got
Yeah.
fucking sorcery.
Yeah.
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 Also, I cannot remember if she's watched Robot Jocks or not, but we need to do that at some
What?
point. And Xanadu.
What?
I think Get Crazy.
Yeah, Get Crazy.
That's about to come out on Blu-ray. I think we should probably get a copy of
Noise.
Get Crazy. Which I can't believe that movie's coming out on Blu-ray.
Great.
I have
glad.
Xanadu on Blu-ray, but LSD is still not legal. Just FYI.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, other substances are sort of legal here, so
You can get there.
I have chronic fuck this entire world-itis. Maybe I can get a card.
I have that.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
Yeah. That's why my head hurts all the time, and it feels like my face is on fire.
Oh, you have Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider-itis.
It's very similar.
Yeah.
That's,
Rider-itis.
they're contracted different
I
ways.
got a bad case of Rider-itis.
Yeah.
So, is that it? Do we have some emails?
We got an email
And email.
from Patrick.
Let us
Oh,
read
Patrick.
it.
He says, "Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
This is about Cynthia Rothrock, by the way.
Okay.
Fuck yeah.
I like those.
It is titled Cynthia Rothrock.
Oh.
Period.
Huh.
Hello, guys.
Accurate.
I've always enjoyed her films. I listened to the Irresistible Force episode in which you argued that she'd very possibly be a much bigger star if she were in her prime today. I have a theme suggestion for down the road. Rothrocktober. There are plenty of her movies from which to choose. The Tiger Claws series. I'd recommend only the first one. Rage and Honor and Rage and Honor 2. Guardian Angel, Sworn to Justice. And No Retreat, No Surrender. There are others. I really enjoy your show. Take care. Patrick.
Thanks for enjoying our show.
Yes, thanks.
I appreciate you. Didn't we do no retreat, no surrender?
Yes.
Or have we just talked about it? Okay. I
I
could.
mean, that's the early Van Damme movie, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think she's in that.
Unless there might be another that's a kind of generic title, so maybe she's
I think
in
I was
on
not
Pulp.
here for No Retreat.
You
No
were not.
Surrender.
But we kind of did when we did Rocktober, because we did a movie with Rock in the title, and we did a Rock movie, and then we did a Rothrock movie. That was back when we were being real dumb.
Oh, as opposed to now, where we do 8 Force movies in a row.
Yeah, but that's
Well,
announced ahead of time.
Wasn't that also like the 1990 year?
I don't think that year was, because there was no Rock movie from 1990.
Okay. I feel like that. Well, I feel like we were trying to tip our hand at that point because we were like,
Well, I know we watched China O'Brien during 1999.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
like, I think it was like the April month where we were like, oh, please, will someone just understand that these are all 1999 movies, and we'll say it's a different theme week every week, like
Right.
April O'Neil. And
Yeah. She's in No Retreat, No Surrender 2.
Okay.
So that's an important distinction.
A
It
sequel
is
month.
actually.
Yes. Anyway, there are going to be more Rothrock movies.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's happening. I wish that is the movies that we do, the action genre mostly, is the one thing that just doesn't have that kind of Blu-ray resurgence. Like there is not any kind of like we need to get these movies out on Blu-ray.
Every garbage horror film that's ever been like shot
Horrors-
is getting a
But it sells.
yes.
That's
yes.
the
I'm not.
thing.
I'm not.
Yeah, but you're right. If it's trash, it still gets a Blu-ray and it
yeah,
comes out.
Like Shout Factory or Scream Factory is just
yeah.
every.
I mean, I would even take like a double feature or quadruple feature discs, just like, get better transfers of stuff out there because
just
there's
at least get me like something that's DVD quality and widescreen.
Yeah.
Like that's all I want.
that's a lot of her library is looks bad, like just quality wise. So that's kind of been the barrier to entry on a lot of that stuff.
We'll get there though.
Because like China O'Brien was fun,
John O'Brien.
but it looked like shit. And they filmed a sequel at the same time, and it also looks like shit. That's why we haven't done it. So anyway.
There are plans. We
Yes.
are not.
And we have an October plan, but it might be flexible.
Okay.
We already talked about it.
Okay.
Did you know that Cynthia Rothrock has 4 movies in pre-production right now?
What?
Good for her.
Did that Expendables or whatever it was actually end up calling ever get made?
They kind of did something like that, but it was never the thing it was supposed to be.
Okay. I just wonder because she was like one of the main headliners.
Yeah.
Of it, right?
I think it's this movie called Mercenaries. It's like Brigitte Nielsen, Vivica A. Fox, Cynthia Rothrock, Zoe Bell. I mean, it just wasn't. It's directed by Fred Olen Ray's kid. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
the Terminatrix is in it.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah,
Who is the Terminatrix? Is
The-
that her given name?
Christina Loken.
yeah.
Loken.
The girl from Terminator 3,
Oh.
who then appeared in like every
All those vampire movies for Uwe Boll, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Was that her?
Yeah.
She was the blood
She
rain
was
lady.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought that was someone else, but all right. I think we just had a discussion too. So.
I mean, she works a lot, but it's like everything she does is just like, what? Yeah, Terminatrix.
Yeah. We'll get it.
Why are we
we'll get
back
in
on that?
I don't know.
How does that keep happening?
I don't know.
there. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
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 All right. Well, when we start making those noises, I think it's time
Yeah,
for some
I
contact
think
information.
we've-
and
yeah.
Get out of here.
All right. Let's see. First things first, the money. Buy T-shirts. Bearsuitstudios.bigcartel.com. Give us some money in a monthly style at patreon.com/BMFcast. You will receive bonus content for that. More bonus content than you can shake all of the sticks that you can carry out. Next, contact us. BMF@BMFcast.com. 9105-DUCKS-BMF or 910-556-9263. That is the Garfield phone. Give him a ring. Garfield has been lonely lately and wants to hear from you. You can't have a dialogue with him, but you can leave him a message and he'll relay it to us.
He's a good listener.
He is. Also, just visit the website bmfcast.com if you have forgotten any of the things that I just told you and don't want to rewind. Just go to bmfcast.com and click on the buttons that are there on the website for you. Don't forget we have an eBay page, and all of the proceeds from any of our eBay sales go directly to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. It is a wonderful charity that helps get kids out of being missing and exploited.
It finds them and unexploits them.
Yes.
Right. But
It does good for kids.
right.
You know, for kids.
I think I think the name of the charity is pretty self-explanatory. But
Well, for me, the one time when I assumed that it was for that purpose.
Right.
for hiding and exploiting children.
I thought.
Well, 4 is right there in the name. The National Center 4.
I was like, why are we donating to that?
It's
That's
for
weird.
the missing and exploited children, not for
It's
missing
for them.
and exploiting them.
I think that would be called the
Okay.
the Center for Hiding and Exploiting Children.
Yes.
Yeah, fine.
Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, if you're in the Discord, I'm gonna post a little short little studio tour. So, be on the lookout for that. Just
Bolo.
little photos of the studio, so that you know.
Are you going to capture the theater too, or just the studio?
No, just the studio.
All right.
No, the theater is
Yeah, that's
less
for
interesting.
us.
Yeah, the studio is
It's
just for
private.
us.
Yeah,
It is
It's where we
private.
spend our.
it's also got a bunch of dicks
Yeah.
everywhere.
There's just like
Only
plastic-
when we're
there's
there.
plastic. There's plastic laid down. 'Cause we just never know what's going to happen.
Nope. Could be a Gallagher concert. You never know.
Anyway, let's get out of here, shall we? I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ,
I'm Chuck.
and this is BMFcast out. Bye.
Goodbye. Farewell. Oh man. Oh, my ears.
All right, I'm going to stop the live stream because we may do more bumpers.
Oh, you got some bumpers?
Well, I didn't know if you
shit.
wanted me to record the one I
Think
said
about
after I
bumpers.
stopped the thing.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, is it still funny? That's all.
Oh.
All right, stopping the stream. Good night, everyone. Thanks for stopping by.